So now, who can answer those 6 questions? The 6 questions, what I'm suggesting is to all of you, please write down or take a printout. Write down in a piece of paper. Stick it in front of your desk. So that way, you will never miss them or forget them. 6 questions, you should remember them even in your sleep. Okay. Can anyone volunteer to recite the 6 questions? Quickly.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
First question.
Shloka 1.9. Question 1. What is the ultimate good of human life?
Second.
1.11. What is the essence of all scriptures?
Essence of all scriptures, yes. Third.
Third, Shloka 1.12. Why Lord is born in Devaki and Vasudeva?
Womb of Devaki and Vasudeva. Correct. Fourth.
Fourth, 1.17. Adventures of his various incarnations.
Purushavatars.
Purushavatars.
Okay. Fifth.
Then,
same. Adventures of Lord.
1.18. His internal powers.
Leela avatars. Okay.
Leela avatars. Right. Sixth, I haven't written that.
Where would Dharma take shelter, Prabhuji?
Yes, where would Dharma take? That's a question. That means, what is the essence of religiosity? Right? Where would Dharma take shelter? So that's what they are asking these 6 questions. So now in chapter 2, which is nothing but divinity. Okay? Divinity and devotion service. That's the topic of the 2nd chapter. So now what here Sutta Goswami is trying to tell, he's going to give answers to those 6 questions. But before that, he's thanking the audience, asking the right questions. Then he's also paying his obeisances to his guru, right? Sukadeva Goswami. Then he's also paying obeisances to Narayana Rishis and Mother Saraswati for speaking the subject as it is. Because one is our effort, but beyond our effort is the mercy of the Lord. So he is making those things very, very clear. Okay. Now he's going to answer the first question. Okay. In chapter 2, text 6. So please see my screen, the right answer here. Okay. Let's read this. And this sloka is for memorizing, Mataji. Radhani Mataji, are you there?
Yes, Prabhu. I'll note it.
Yeah, 2.6 is memorizing. Okay.
Yes.
Samai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radokshaje ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidhati. See, the keywords here is paro dharma. Then adokshaje, yato bhakti adokshaje. Then suprasidhati. These are the 3 words in the sloka. Very, very important. What is paro dharma? Dharma means religiosity. Or ultimate good of human life, or you can consider as dharma or prescribed duties. Okay. What is paro? Paro means topmost, something very, very superior. Right? Then here adokshaje refers to the transcendental aspect of the Lord. Okay. So which is that Lord who's fully transcendental, to whom this bhakti should be directed towards. Okay. Then suprasidhati, when we do something like that, what happens to our heart? We get fully satisfied. Right? So here he is talking about another word which is called as ahaituki apratihata. Now, if you look at all these words here, Srimad Bhagavatam is telling, when someone directs devotional service onto that Supreme Personality of Godhead, he gets completely satisfied. But what sort of practice he must make? He must make practices that are uninterrupted in nature. What is uninterrupted? It is not that once in Diwali I'll worship him, or maybe on my birthday I'll worship him. No. Devotion service must be regular, consistent. It should be regular and consistent, and that is when he can get connected to the Supreme. Okay. After that, it uses the word apratihata. Apratihata means it should never be, okay, apratihata is uninterrupted. Ahaituki is unmotivated. So you should see that I am not coming and performing this because there is a benefit for enjoyment. You should do this for the pleasure of that supreme transcendence. Right? So these two words are very key. When we perform activities, which is parodharma in nature, it must be ahaituki apratihata. It should be completely unmotivated. Unmotivated means not spiritually, but materially. You know, what is unmotivated? People do, oh, I need to win the election, so I'll perform a great homa. I need to pass the exam. I'll perform some activities. That's called motivated. Unmotivated is, no, I will do because it results in pleasure to the Supreme Lord. Okay? So, this is called perfection of one's life. Now look at the translation. The supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain loving devotion service on the transcendental Lord. Okay. Such devotion service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Now, why is Bhagavatam talking about supreme occupation, dharma? See, you please understand that we are all very, very temporary in this material world. Yeah, there have been great kings, great warriors, great scientists, great philanthropists, great artists who have born, produced great results, and they die. Right? And the results also over a period of time will be forgotten. So that means everything in this world is temporary. Now, we should understand that, hey, if everything is temporary, why I'm trying to do many, many things as activities in this world? Anyway, they're going to go away. People are going to exploit it. People are going to take advantage of it for their own purpose. So what's the point in doing that? So hence, Bhagavad Dharma is trying to tell, don't focus that as the goal of life. What is that as the goal of life? That material enjoyment. Okay. Make the goal of life to attain that supreme transcendence. Who's that supreme transcendence here? Adokshija or Krishna. Okay. So there are two ways to achieve this. Generally, people lead this kind of life in two paths, right? Bhagavata refers to Pravritti Marga and Nivritti Marga. Now, what is Pravritti Marga? Pravritti Marga means I'll enjoy. This is one life for me, and I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this life, the end of the soul, right? So, like technically, what the Christianity path follows, right? They call it as a judgment day, right? So, what is judgment day? Okay, you lead a path, and then at the end of the day of the life, you'll just either disappear or merge, or you lose your identity. Something they have a concept, right? So that is Pravritti Marga. Given one human being opportunity, I'll enjoy. What is Nivritti Marga? Nivritti Marga means you take what is called as path of renunciation. So what is renunciation? Renunciation means I take some difficulty now, but that difficulty should be focused to give pleasure to that Supreme Lord. And the end result of that Nivritti Marga is complete satisfaction. Complete satisfaction. It gives me the meaning of purpose of my life. That is called Nivritti Marga. Right? So, for example, in Nivritti Marga also, the goals must be very clear. Now, you see, there are some people who will take a lot of austerity. They'll do meditation. But there will not be any goal of meditation. They'll say, okay, it will give me peace, shanti, and etc. But it doesn't give peace or shanti either. They keep trying it. So there's no goal here. The goal is the self. No. It should be directed to something which will result in complete pleasure and satisfaction of the self. So, Nivritti Marga must have a clear goal. So now what does this Marga says? I will perform certain austerity, What does austerity means? Forcibly accepting difficulty for pleasure of someone else. Now let's take Ekadasi. Now what is Ekadasi? It says, Ekadasi means you eat very light. You fast. Okay, so that is like, if you look at it from one way, what the scientists would say, oh, Ekadasi, if I follow, I'll get good health. My systems regenerate. And, there is more, longevity of my life. So that's the scientist viewpoint. So they keep doing experiments about purpose of Ekadasi from that point. But that's not austerity. So when you take up that austerity on Ekadasi, what do? You have to direct your end goal to someone else. And that is the supreme power. So instead of focusing on our bodily maintenance on Ekadasi, focus on giving pleasure to the Lord. Sing more, read more, hear more, chant more. So when we do that, the Lord is pleased. So that austerity, nivritti marga, taken by that personality, will result in greater pleasure and happiness. Right? So this progressive path of renunciation is what is recommended in Bhagavatam. Right? So what is dharma? Dharma is an occupation or a prescribed duty by which one can understand that Supreme and express his love for the pleasure of the Supreme. That is dharma. In the process of dharma, you may ask, okay, Prabhu, we are doing a practice of all these devotional things. Who will maintain the family? Who will maintain my body? So Bhagavatam will explain all those things in the upcoming slokas. Who is the real maintainer? And how do you actually lead your life? Okay? Is this clear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So this is a very important sloka. We'll read once again just to memorize. Please repeat after me. Savai pumsam paro dharmo
Savai pumsam paro dharmo
yato bhakti radokshaje
yato bhakti radokshaje
ahaituki apratihata
ahaituki apratihata
yayatma suprasidati.
yayatma suprasidati.
Okay, please mug up this sloka. Okay, we'll go to next sloka. So this sloka that we talked about, sloka number 6 and sloka number 7, together they answer the question number 1 and question number 2 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So question number 1 is, what is good for humanity in general? And second, what is the essence of all the scriptures? Right? So these two are answered by 2.6 and 2.7. Now, after 2.7 until sloka number 29, these slokas, that means approximately 19 plus 3, 22 slokas, are going to give explanation about understanding of sloka number 6 and 7 in detail. Okay? So now let's read 2.7. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam. So let's read the translation of this. By rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. See, this is the key. Now, you look at your second question, it said, what is the essence of all the scriptures? How do I know this knowledge? Where is this knowledge hidden? And how can I take it and apply it for myself? Is the inquisitiveness. Now, here, what is the answer given? That this knowledge is there everywhere around you, but you cannot take it. So, for example, if you take payasam, there is sweetness in that payasam. It is existing, but can you, by visually seeing it, can you take that sweet out of it? No, you cannot. But by tasting it, you cannot. You can understand there is sweetness in it. So, can we mute? Yeah, thank you. Okay. So now, in this sloka, what it says is that the soul is actually part and parcel of Krishna. It is part of the superior energy of the Lord. The superior energy of the Lord is all the Vaikuntha planets, the Sandhini potency, the Haladini potency. Like that, they're all supreme energies of the Lord. But the energies also have certain inferior energies. Inferior energies here means like the shadow. Okay, how do you understand shadow? So, for example, if I'm standing and if there is a light that falls on me, you see there's one portion of me which is glowing. But there's other portion of me, there's only one small portion, which is a shadow that is formed. The darker portion of it. So those energies are called inferior energies. They produce darkness. They do not produce knowledge. Now, soul, this Jivatma, the Atma which is there, that is we. We are part of that supreme energy which is superior in nature. Okay, we are not that inferior energy. So that means the soul, since he is part and parcel of Krishna, he is knowledgeable about everything like the Lord. The Sat, Chit, both potency are existing as internal characteristics of the soul. Chit is knowledge. There is no knowledge that is not known to the soul. There is no, and the soul is fully eternal. That means, now let's take an example. So today there are 64 Vidyas according to Veda Shastra. Right? Any kind of field of knowledge is divided into 64 Vidyas. The soul actually knows all of those. It knows even all the languages that are being spoken today. So then you may be wondering, then why I'm not able to speak? Why I'm not able to exhibit that knowledge? Because we are covered. The soul is covered. Right? So for example, you take a ship. A ship is really big in size. But a small anchor, that anchor could hold the ship. Even though the ship is so big and perform many things, it is just held captivated by that anchor. Okay. Another example is elephant. The elephant is very powerful. It can actually uproot a tree and break it. It can carry tons of weight with its trunk. But a small chain can captivate the elephant forever. Right? You put a chain and tie it to a tree, that's it. Elephant will be there like that. Oh, I'm tied, I can't do anything. It'll be like that. But actually, it's your strength. So similarly, by acquiring this material body, the potency of the soul is covered. So now what Bhagavatam says, when you perform devotional service to that Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, what happens? The Lord gives you a special mercy by which all the knowledge about this world, about that supreme world of Vaikuntha, about Krishna, about yourself, everything is revealed to you. When you get revealed about that, then you will lose taste about this material world, and then you will become detached. So here detachment means I'm detaching from the activities of the material world, but I'm attaching to the Supreme Lord. So there's no zero. Sunyam doesn't happen here. I'm redirecting my detachment to attachment to God. So which means what? I don't have much taste in the many enjoyable activities of this material world, but I have taste in serving my Lord. That is the power of devotion. And the Lord gives the knowledge. What knowledge? Hey, how do you cross the difficulties of this material world? And how do you reach me after you finish this lifespan of human birth? That's the knowledge Lord gives. So hence this sloka refers to that. Okay. So you see, there are key words here. To achieve contact to Supreme Lord, Krishna is a great science. It is open for all living beings, including Shudras, Vaishyas. That means what it says. This practice of devotion is not restricted to Brahmanas. Anyone, they can practice. It is open to all. So this way you see, the Lord is equal to all living entities. First point. Second point, it's talking about Naishkarma. Naishkarma is practiced by many people saying that, oh, if I do something, there'll be reaction, good or bad. So I will not do anything. I'll just go to Himalayas, sit there and just keep meditating. So Naishkarma here refers to negating something so that I'm not getting affected. But he is not understanding that Krishna is full of positive energy. By connecting with him, I acquire that positiveness. So that is the problem with Naishkarma. Okay. So these are the key points out of this sloka. So now what one should do? One should practice bhakti, and bhakti should be directed onto the lotus feet of the Supreme. When that bhakti is focused on that Supreme Lord, he awards costless mercy by which all hidden knowledge is revealed, through which we become detached to these ignorance and we become knowledgeable about that Supreme and redirect all our activities that will result in going back home, back to Godhead. That's what the sloka is trying to tell us. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes,
Just,
Prabhuji.
just
Okay.
this one word, costless knowledge.
One second. So, causeless means that
Prabhu, what I understood is without making effort to get knowledge, it will be released. Is that what, Prabhu?
no, you're making effort, no. Your effort is performing devotional service.
Yes, only devotional service.
Amana, Prabhu.
And once you perform devotional service, the knowledge is revealed
Yes.
without asking any questions. Oh, are you eligible? Oh, do you deserve it? Oh, can I give it to you? So no questions are asked, but Lord gives that mercy.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes.
So Radhani Mataji, this is also sloka to be mugged up. Okay.
Okay. 270.
So let's recite the sloka. Please repeat after me. Vasudeve Bhagavati
Bhagavati
Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha
Bhakti Yoga Prayojita
Anayati Ashu Vairagyam
Janayati Ashu Vairagyam
Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam.
Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam.
Okay. So 2.7 also you have to mug it up.
Prabhu, this costless, it is also Nishkamana, Prabhu.
Nishkama, okay. Nishkama means
Without any.
means you are performing activities that does not result in bad or good qualities. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, but that is like negating from everything. So we are not talking negation from everything. We are telling redirecting.
Okay.
So what is negating? For example, someone says, hey, in this material world, if you perform something, activity, it will give you karma. Right? Whether it is good or bad. If I give a donation to a charitable organization, it will give me good karma. If I cheat someone, it will give me bad karma. So this world, every transaction in this world is good and bad. So I don't want this transaction in this world. So I'll go to a forest and I will just perform meditation, not do anything. Okay, but that is negation. There's no positivity. The positivity is, okay, while I am trying to do an activity because that's the nature of the soul, it has to perform activity. Instead of performing activities that cause reactions, I'll perform activities for the pleasure of the Lord, by which these reactions are automatically nullified. That becomes Nishkama Karma Yoga.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
This Nishkama and Naishkarma, both are same, Prabhu.
See, this Naishka, that's what I'm trying to tell you. This Naishkarma is trying to tell there's no connection with the Supreme. That's why we add the word Karma Yoga.
Yeah. Mhm.
That is the one that connects with the Supreme.
Oh, only karmic reaction will not be there in Naishkarma.
Yes.
Yes,
Just I'm
Prabhu.
avoiding, I'm going away. Like, for example, if I go into a boiler, there will be heat.
Yeah.
If I go into a cold chamber, it will be cold. No, I will not go to both places. I will be in a place which does not have heat nor cold. Like that, I'm selecting.
Nishkama is different then.
Same, Prabhuji. That's what we talked about.
Same. Nishkama, Nishkarma, both are same. They are, there will not be any result out of these karmas. No, Prabhu? No karmic reaction.
No activity also.
No activity also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Activity produces result, no.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Okay, now
No activity, no results like that, Prabhu.
Like that. That is their thought, philosophy. Now we are telling, no, stop doing all these things. Do perform activity, but perform activity as parodharma.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. 2.8.
Okay, thank you.
Dharma swanutistataha pumsam vishwaksena katashuya notpadayat yadi ratim shrama eva hi kevalam. Okay. Now, this sloka is talking about what is occupational duty, because you should get clarity, right? So now, first step of understanding occupational duty. Now, let's say you are working every day. You're working in any business or job, something you're working. Whole day you're working. There are many people who work in hard labor, right? From morning till night they're doing. But after doing the whole day work, whole day labor, whole day hard work, if your employer or your customers, whoever it may, or the government, they say no salary for you. So you see, that means you may understand there's no meaning. So similarly, when we perform activities that are not prescribed or are not occupational, you may get some material benefit or material gain, but that results in nothing in this world. Because it is called useless labor, because it doesn't provoke you Krishna in your heart. So why it is called useless labor? Because if it doesn't provoke Krishna in your heart, you're just doing so much of work which will result in an animal birth because of ignorance. And what have you achieved? To be formed in the animal kingdom, the next life, why should you work so hard? So it's meaningless. That's what this sloka is trying to tell. Not only that, it also deteriorates one's consciousness. When we work so hard without presence of Krishna, it just leads to selfishness, very self-centered in our thought process and activities. It results in very high enviness. You see, all the negative qualities are acquired. We will not, live for moral values. So all those things will cause deterioration in society. So why Kali Yuga deteriorates faster? Because of godlessness society. In the previous ages, even though there were some of these negative qualities, but it was a godful society. People worshipped God. Now the society is becoming godless. And hence the deterioration of the entire human society is much, much faster. So people are interested in philosophy, philanthropic, altruistic, socialistic. Okay, I want to earn money so that I can donate. I mean, that's what the thought process. So they want to be the giver. They want to be like the God. So you see that any of these people who perform so much of philanthropic activities can never get satisfied. One. Secondly, they will be subject to material tribulations. You may see many people, oh, I do so much of philanthropy, but still I'm going through a lot of difficulties. But I still, enjoy pleasure in it. But Bhagavatam says, the objective is, it says, this material world is covered walls. What is covered walls? For example, I'm put in a room which has got 4 walls and locked up. I'll be supplied food and some space for doing some exercise. That's all. I can maintain my body. But you see, the real life of liberation is not experienced by that person. A soul, when it is out of this material body, which is fully liberated, it experiences its potency to the highest and experiences joy to the eternal level. And that is called complete freedom. Now we are locked in this body, which will go through material tribulation, that is material difficulties. It will go through disease and it will suffer. It will go through economic problems and it will suffer. It will go through problems because of others disturbing you and it will suffer. So that's not freedom. Where is freedom really in this world today? You go to school, there are rules. You go on the road, there are rules. You want to be a citizen, there are rules. Everywhere you're confined to rules and regulations that you cannot really extend your freedom. That's why it's called covered walls. And this material world is a covered walls. So hence, people sometimes think, okay, if I do good things, I'll go to Swargaloka. I may go to higher planets than that. Okay, what is Swargaloka? Swargaloka is like enjoyment. So how do you understand Swargaloka? Very simple. Now let's say a person is earning 2,000 rupees a day or month. That's very little money. He can hardly eat anything. So what he does, okay, somehow I will do business or somehow I will study. I'll get better job so that I can earn more. Okay, so he went through all the difficulties. Because of the difficulties, he made his business successful and he made job successful. He earned a lot of money. So what does he do? He buys a nice house, a nice car. He enjoys this world by drinking, doing all these things he wants. So that enjoyment portion is Swargaloka. So when one performs all these austerities without understanding Krishna and Parodharma, he will die, but after death he'll go to Swargaloka. What is Swargaloka? Enjoy. So the real liberation has not happened. When real liberation not happened, the soul will be again unsatisfied. Again he'll search for happiness. Even in Swargaloka he'll search for happiness. Right? How? Today many rich people are there in this material world. They can fly to any country. They can buy anything they want. They go in expensive cars, but still they're very unhappy. Suicides, family problems, this disease. So many things they're suffering. Childlessness, unlimited suffering. So that's like Swargaloka. Okay, are you getting this point?
Yes, Prabhu.
Is this clear?
Yes, Prabhu.
You have to understand what is occupational duty. So you cannot perform whatever duty you want and think, okay, this is also occupational duty. Okay. So let's read sloka number 2.9. In 2.8, it is explaining why you should understand occupational duty. And 2.9, it's going to tell us what will occupational duty lead to. Okay. Dharmasya hi apavargasya narto artayo pakalpate nartasya dharmaikantasya kamo labaya hi smritaha. Translation. All occupational enjoyments are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. So what does this mean? By performing an activity, you should get out of difficulty. You should get moksham. You should get liberation. If your occupational duty, that means your day-to-day activities, can give you liberation, that means your duty is correct. If your occupation, that means your day-to-day activities, do not give you liberation, it again causes entanglement in this. That means your rebirth is guaranteed. Then that is not the occupational duty. So hence Bhagavatam says, they should never be performed for material gain. If you keep performing a duty for material gain, that never becomes occupational duty, which entangles you into this material world again and again. So, furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. So, what the second part says, when you perform occupational duties, you are going to get many, many benefits. That's what you learn in the Samudra Manthan. In Samudra Manthan, what happened? There is a mountain in the center and a snake is tied to the mountain. One side there are demonic mentality of people. One side there are divine mentality of people. That's what Devatas and Rakshasas mean. Okay. All of them are churning this material world. Everyone is churning this material world. When they churn this material world, what happens? Many, many things come out of this material world. So in Samudra Manthan, what happened? Many, many things came. Powerful things came, like elephant and horses, weapons, knowledge, Veda Shastras came. Enjoying things also came. The ultimate of enjoyment, Amrita also came. Bad things also came, like the poison. So it means everything comes out of this material world when you churn them. So, if you perform occupational duty, that can result in attaining that supreme, Bhagavata says that activity is considered perfect. If not, that activity is wrong. So, occupational duty is meant for liberation. That is the conclusion. Okay. So, the highlight. The general tendency of an ordinary man in any part of the world is to gain material profit in exchange for religious or any other occupational duty. He uses the word religious also here. What does that mean? Hey, to get gain, I'll perform certain yajna. Kubera yajna. When I perform, what happens? He is thinking that Kubera will come and give him tons of money. Even the Vedic literatures for all sorts of religious are allurement of material gain, because Veda Shastra also has many, many tricks and methods. That you perform this, you do this, you will get good wife, you will get good family and children, you will get good beautificate body, you will get very knowledgeable child. Like that, Shastra also recommends many, many techniques. So it says, occupation duty, don't get allured for it. That is not the right thing. You should choose activities that will result in liberation. Liberation means what? No more birth after dying. Okay. So what is the essence of the sloka number 9? Occupational duty is important, and occupational duty must be selected in such a manner that will lead to liberation. Okay. Is this clear?
It's true.
Okay. Now you may ask, Prabhuji, then give me an example of perfect occupation duty in this material world. So there's no perfect occupation duty in the material world. So what do? We perform a job. Like, let's say I'm a software engineer. I'm a doctor. I'm a government engineer. I'm a businessman. I perform my job and my duty, but when I perform, I keep my consciousness intact. That means what? Not to do cheating, not to exploit, follow within the rules of the government, and perform these duties. Okay, good. First step. Second step. When you do this duty properly, you will get material benefit. You will get some money, you get position, you get all these things in return. What do? Don't misuse them for enjoyment and stop your life. use these benefits for the pleasure of the Lord, and thereby perfect a life. That's what this Bhagavatam is recommending in the current age of how one should practice. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes,
Prabhu, we have
Prabhuji.
two duties, no, Prabhu. One for our body, one for our soul. Like that,
Yes.
Prabhu.
And while you're performing these duties, Bhagavatam says you have to maintain your body with good health. That you will see in the next sloka. Okay? Why? Because if your body is maintained well, with mind intact, you will see the performance or execution or discharge of duties is in its perfection. Okay? We'll see that in the next sloka now. 2.10. Kamasya nendriya priti labho jivate yavata jivasya tattva jignasa narto yascheha karma bihi. Translation. Life desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. Always sense gratification. Okay, what is sense gratification? Let's understand. Yesterday, when Maharaj came home, he was telling the difference between previous ages and this age. The previous ages, people used to eat at home and they will never have toilets at home. The toilets will be outside of the house, little bit of distance. So what they will do, they eat at home and they go outside of the house and they extricate, clean their bodies. Now, what they're doing in the Kali Yuga, everything is ulta, that they go out all the time, eating in hotels, eating in every places, and they come home because the toilets are within the home, and they extricate within the home. Right? So you see how sense gratification, all the time eating anything and everything. Just to satisfy the taste buds all the time. And what it results in? It results in mandabhagya. It results in loss of memory or reduction of memory. It increases the disease and reduces the lifespan. And they don't even care. They just want to still do it. In every cigarette pack, it is written smoking is injurious to health. In every bottle of wine or drink, it is written that this causes damages to the liver. As per the government directive, it has been put there. But you see, year on year, the sales of liquor is going up high in the entire world. Year on year, the smoking companies produce greater profit than the previous years. So people are going for sense gratification. Today, you see the problems of drug, women trafficking, what not, unlimited. One side they're saying, oh, this sex, drug trafficking is all bad. But they will allow many, many movies to be produced which only focus on women trafficking and drug trafficking, which will provoke the minds of people that, oh, such things are enjoyed. You see, paradoxes, nonsense. So it says, one should desire only a healthy life. Yes, you need to maintain this body. Why? Because you should render devotional service, right? If your mind is intact, memory is intact, you'll remember all the Shastric injunction. All the time. If your health is good, you can perform great deeds. Or self-preservation, that's called self-preservation. That means whatever energy awarded by the Lord, you preserve it for using it for higher purpose. Since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's work. If you keep this in mind and have this as the goal, you will see you will progress very, very well in your life. Okay, so this sloka is more about controlling of senses, regulating your activities. Then it talks about married life as a grihastha. It talks about life as a brahmacharya. Even though you're married, you have opulence, you may have wife, you may have this, all these things. How to be careful in dealing that life, not exploiting it. So these are the important aspects this sloka is explaining. Okay, we'll go to sloka number 11. 1 second. Okay. So, sloka number. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti Bhagavan iti shabdayate. Sloka 10, it talked about you maintain good health, practice parodharma, inquire about the purpose of your life. Why are you born here? Why are you having such a life? And what will you do after death? Where will you go? And who's the one who's the cause of all causes, the absolute truth? So have a good life, practice proper religious activities, your prescribed duties, and inquire about the absolute truth. When you inquire, who's God? How do I realize him? Then this sloka comes into act. This is what this sloka tells. How do you understand absolute truth? It says, translation. Learned translators who know about the absolute truth call this non-dual substance, Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. Okay. So what does this mean? It's very simple. This Supreme Lord, we say no, the Providence. We say no, Almighty. We say Narayana. How come many of these attributes are given to the Supreme Creator, God? So it is said, this God can be understood in 3 stages of knowledge. Right? So, for example, you see mathematics as a subject. If you ask a student who's like in his preschools, or not even preschools, I would say, lower schools from 1 to 6 standard, his understanding of mathematics is different. Now you go to high school, like 8th standard to 12th standard, you ask them mathematics, they will give very many details about mathematics. Now you go ask an engineering graduate mathematics, his detailedness of mathematics will be much more elaborate. That means the same mathematical subject is understood by 3 different sub people based on their level of maturity and knowledge. So similarly, this creator, Bhagavan, the Almighty, is also understood in 3 levels. Okay, the first level is called Brahman. The second level is called Paramatma. The third level is called Bhagavan. Okay, it's the same, but their understanding would vary. Why? Because they're still junior, the realization has not happened, they need to practice more, like that. Okay, what is Brahman? Brahman is, you cannot see the Lord. Okay, you just see white light, or the sky, the ultimate, or something Brahmanda, like a big mountain, like a big tree, like a big ocean. So you conclude that is Lord. Why you conclude that is Lord? Look at the almightiness of it. Look at the ocean, how powerful it is. Look at this huge mountain, how powerful it is. So like that, you understand Brahman. But in real sense, the Shastra says this Brahman is nothing but the effulgence, the energy that comes out of the body of the Lord. Okay? Like, for example, you have sun planet, right? From the sun planet, sunlight comes. Now, the sunlight has the source called sun. But if the sun doesn't produce light, the sunlight doesn't exist. Right? So, sun as a body is ultimate, then sunlight. So, Brahman is nothing but light that comes out of the body of Supreme Lord. So people do not know that there is someone behind this light as a source. They think this light is ultimate. They get aghast with it. They think this is Brahman. Wow, this is Brahman. They conclude that is Lord. Why? Because the ignorance is still there. The consciousness is not opened up yet. And they think Brahman is ultimate. Now, practice of devotion, reading of Shastras, coming to a Guru and getting his mercy, he understands to higher level. What? No. That Lord is actually Paramatma. He's not formless. He's got a form. He's got a shape. So he understands that he's got a shape, he's got a form, and he's Paramatma. He's got 4 hands like that. And he sits in my heart. He understands like that. Right? Now, how to understand in reality? So you go to railway station. Railway station, you're waiting for the train. Suddenly you'll hear the sound of the train. Ooh, you'll hear that sound. When you hear the sound, do you see the train? You don't see the train. So you just heard some information through your senses. And that is called understanding of the Brahman. That means somewhere God is there. I don't know what he is, what his activity is, how does he look. No, I don't know. So like that is Brahman. Now, when you see the train, then you see, oh, look at this train has got a shape. It's got blue in color. It is round in the front. It's got light. It's got wheels. It's got boxes. You see? You will see those. That is called understanding as Paramatma. The next detailness about the Lord. Then you will see, is that the ultimate? No, that's not ultimate. Actually, you see, when the train comes, you'll see people are coming out of the train. Oh, there's more detail. And these people have activities. They speak different languages. They all look different in nature. So you see, there are attributes, there are detailness, and that is a personality, and that is Bhagavan. Okay. Another example is sunlight is Brahman. The sun surface, the globe, which has got a shape, form, is Paramatma. But the sun god, the Surya Bhagavan who sits, you see there's a personality being who drives this entire sun god, sun planet, is Surya Bhagavan. Then you will see him as a personality. That is Bhagavan. So if you understand these 3, then you have understood the highest truth of devotion service. Then what happens? Instead of performing devotional activities at the Brahman level, and instead of performing devotional activities at the Paramatma level, you perform activities to Bhagavan, Archa Vigraha, directly to his feet, to his hand, to his mouth, to his ears, to his eyes. Like that, you'll perform devotional activities. So this is what this sloka is trying to explain us. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, Prabhu.
So now you should all read all the slokas that have been taught here, the purports. If you read the purport, whatever I told you, you will get detailed explanation and it will sit in your heart. If you don't read, it will evaporate like water. You sprinkle some water on the wall, it'll look like the wall is wet. Just in a matter of 2-3 minutes, you will see that it is dried up. So knowledge is volatile. If you want to fix up the knowledge, read it now. So today only, by end of day, all the participants must have completed reading all the purports what we discussed. Okay, so we'll do last sloka 12 and
11, I'll put it for by hearting.
yes, 11 is for by hearting, Madhu. So let's read 11. Okay, please repeat the sloka after me. Vadanti tat tattvavidas
Vadanti
Tattvavidas
tattvam yajnanamadvayam
Tattvam
Jnanam Advayam
Advayam
meti paramatmeti
Meti
Meti
Bhagavan iti shabdayate.
Bhagavan iti Shabdayate.
So today you're going to mug up 3 slokas, no, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. 6, 7, and 10.
Yeah, 3 slokas. So please mug up these slokas and recite them every day and become a wonderful Bhagavad person. Okay. So the sloka 12 is actually very good. I want you to read it. So we'll just read the sloka on the purport. This is nothing but Shruta Grahitya, Vairagya, Jnana. So what's the difference on that? Very nice. He talks about 3 kinds of devotees. One is called the first class, second class, and third class devotee. So this sloka is related to the previous sloka. We said Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So this also, how does a first class devotee behave? How does a second-class devotee behave? How third-class devotee behave? Right? So from one's behavior, one's maturity, you can understand whether it's third class, second class, or first class. Right? So that's what this sloka is trying to tell. This sloka is trying to tell us the level of our consciousness. Okay? So we'll read this sloka. 2.12. Tat Shraddadana Munayo Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Pashyanti Atmani Chatmanam Bhaktya Shruta Grihitaya. Translation. A seriously inquisitive student or stage, that means you should now ask questions. Hey, what is this? What is that? I want to know this. I want to know that. That is inquisitiveness. Well equipped with knowledge and detachment. We talked about knowledge detachment in the previous slokas. Okay. Realizes that absolute truth by rendering devotion service. So this truth, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, is really understood when we perform devotion service in terms of what he heard from the Vedanta Shruti. And this realization will be exactly same explained in all the Vedic scriptures. Okay, so that is what this sloka is talking about. Who will realize how much? A first-class devotee, how much you'll realize. Second-class devotee, how much you'll realize. Third-class devotee, how much you'll realize. And what are the methods of realization? Is being talked about in this sloka. Okay, so I want you to read. This is very, very simple actually. Simple explanation Prabhupada is given. Please read it. You will understand this whole description very, very clearly. Okay. Any questions in 2.12? Come with questions in the next class. We'll answer all of them. Okay. Because 2.12, there is a why I'm doing 2.12 is one is time. I'm not giving explanations. Second, logically, that concludes a particular topic. That's why I'm doing till 2.12. Okay. So let's stop here and we'll take questions. 10 minutes questions.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu. In the shloka number text 7, you said that when
Yes, go ahead, Mataji.
When we perform devotional service, the Lord gives mercy so that everything is revealed to us and we become detached, Prabhu. So also we are able to cross over our difficulties in this lifespan. Is it of all the other previous sins also gets eradicated completely, Prabhu?
Yeah. So now, for example, if Lord says, you'll cross over this material difficulties and come to me, unless you solve all your previous baggage and let them go, how will you go to the Lord? You cannot, right?
Okay.
So Lord is telling you that you may have sins accumulated, negative karma over previous many births. He says, I will just wash them away. Let's say a lot of scribbling on the whiteboard. He just says, I'll take a cloth and wipe the whiteboard very cleanly. And that's it. When will I do that? When you practice devotion service. Okay, clear?
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Any other question?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So in practical application, how should we advise our children, Prabhu, who are very much attached to their jobs and like all the time very passionate?
Yeah, so see, in the initial stages of one's life, they will be, liking with the material interactions, right? Because job gives them a lot of money, a lot of enjoyment opportunities and things like that. So don't stop them from any of those things. Okay. But parallelly, allocate some time on a weekly basis or on a daily basis and give them this knowledge. Okay. Give them this knowledge in a step-by-step methodical manner. Slowly what happens, Lord who's sitting as Paramatma in the hearts of you and your children, he will reveal the real truth to them. Because he is doing Shravanam, he is reading some scriptures, he may also chant. Because of that, the Lord reveals the truth to their children and they will automatically take up the correction in their life. Okay? So your duty is give them association, give them these opportunities to learn, and feed them prasadam. When you do this, they will change one day. They'll become great devotees.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare-
Any other questions? So looks like all of you very clear.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so was today's Bhagavatam nourishing for all of you?
Very much,
Definitely,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Very nice,
Very much.
Very nice, Prabhu.
Okay. See, Bhagavatam is actually very easy if you read in a very systematic manner. Okay. If you read in a systematic manner, you will enjoy Bhagavatam. It's very, very nectarian, actually, it is. And when I sit to read, sometimes non-stop, I'll read for hours together. I will not feel like even dropping the book down. Right. So it's so nourishing. So make it a habit. When you see good things in life, make it a habit to connect with it all the time. Through that, you will also flourish in your life. Okay. So thank you all so much. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll again see you next Saturday. Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari
Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Om Tat Tat. One point important for all of you. Today only you have to practice those 3 slokas and read the purport of sloka number 5 to 12 without failure. Okay? Don't miss this. If you do this, you will be updated to speed on learning Bhagavatam. Like this, we can complete entire Canto 1 superbly. Okay? And in this life, you'll never forget Canto 1 details.
Because of a mentor like you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu,
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Prabhu.
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat.